The rain hadn't stopped in 2 days. London felt heavier when you were broke. Every puddle, every light, every breath just reminded you how small you were. I wiped my guitar strings on a napkin and whispered, "Please don't break tonight." Another sad song? Nora asked from behind the counter, smirking as she poured coffee. "That's all I've got," I said, forcing a smile. She shook her head. "You should try happy for once. People tip better when you don't sound like you're dying inside." "I'm not dying," I muttered. "Just surviving." The bell above the cafe door chimed. I didn't bother to look. I'd learned not to expect anyone important to walk in. But something about the footsteps made me glance up. A man in a dark tailored coat stood by the door, shaking off the rain. He didn't belong here. Too polished, too calm. He scanned the room, then sat alone at the back, facing the small stage. "New face," Nora whispered. "Looks like he owns half the city." "Then maybe he'll buy me dinner," I joked. Tuning my guitar again, you wish, when my set began. The lights dimmed to that soft orange glow that made everything look like an old film. My fingers trembled as I strummed the first chord. I'd played this song 100 times, on my mother's song. The one she used to hum before cancer took her voice. "If I could stay, I'd hold your hand through every dawn." The room quieted. Even the espresso machine seemed to listen. I closed my eyes, sang through the ache, and tried not to break mid-verse. When I opened them again, the man in the coat hadn't moved. His eyes were on me, not blinking, not smiling, just seeing. It was unsettling. Like he could hear the part of me I tried to hide. After the last chord faded, the applause came slow but warm. A few coins clinked in the tip jar. I bowed my head slightly and whispered, "Thanks, everyone." When I looked up, the man was gone. Just an empty cup on his table. I sighed, starting to pack up, when Nora approached with a folded note and a crisp $500 bill. "Don't scream," she said, sliding it over. "He left this." My throat tightened. "That can't be real." "It is," she said. "And the note says—" She handed it to me, in neat handwriting. "You sing like you've lost everything. That's rare." "RVRV?" Nora frowned. "Who's that?" I stared at the initials. My hands shook. "I have no idea." "Well," she said, eyes wide, "if he wants to adopt a cafe singer, I volunteer as your manager." I laughed softly, but inside something felt strange. No one had ever seen through me like that. Not from a single song. When I stepped outside, the rain had slowed to a drizzle. I tucked the note in my jacket pocket, half afraid it might vanish if I blinked. The next evening I found myself staring at the cafe door again, waiting for him. I told myself I wasn't. But I was. Every time the bell rang, I looked up, pretending I wasn't disappointed when it wasn't him. "Still thinking about your mystery man?" Nora teased. "I'm thinking about rent," I lied. She laughed. "Right, and I'm the queen." The night dragged. No sign of him. I played anyway, the same song, the same ache. When I finished, a woman clapped too loudly near the bar, and that was it. As I packed up, Mrs. Hartley, the owner, approached. "Lovely as always, dear. But you should rest. You look tired." "I'm fine," I said, though my chest felt hollow. "Music like that doesn't come from fine hearts," she murmured. "Keep your soul safe, Elias." Her words stuck with me as I walked home through the fog. London shimmered with neon reflections, and I caught myself humming the tune again, my mother's melody echoing between the alleys. When I reached my flat, I found another envelope wedged under my door. No name, just my initials. EW. I froze. Opened it slowly. Inside, another note. "You sing for ghosts, don't you? Meet me tomorrow at the Ember, 8 p.m. No signature." Just the faint scent of rain and cologne. I stared at it for a long time. My instinct screamed danger, but curiosity whispered louder. The next night, the cafe was emptier than usual. Nora raised an eyebrow when she saw me scanning every table. "You look like you're waiting for a date." "I think I am." "Lucky mystery girl?" "Not exactly." At 8:03, the door opened. The same man, dark coat, calm eyes, stepped in like he owned the air. He walked straight to me. "Elias Ward," he said softly. The way he said my name made me forget to breathe. "Yes," I replied, my voice unsteady. "And you're—" "Rowan Vale," he smiled faintly. "I came for another song." I blinked. "You left me £500. Did I?" He looked amused. "Then I suppose it was worth it." "Why?" I asked. "Why me?" He studied me, and not rudely, just intently.
Because pain like yours doesn't lie. I swallowed.
That's not an answer. Maybe not. But it's true. He leaned closer, lowering his voice. Sing again tonight. The same song. For me. I don't take requests, I said, forcing a smirk. He smiled. Slow, deliberate. You will. Then he turned, sat at the same table, and waited. My heart pounded so loud I could barely hear the guitar when I began. His eyes stayed on me the entire time, steady, unflinching, almost protective. When I finished, he stood, dropped another note on the table, and walked out before I could speak. I opened it, breath trembling. Next time, let the pain breathe. Don't hide it, I didn't sleep that night. Not because of fear, but because for the first time in years, someone saw me. The next day, the ember felt quieter than usual. Even the rain had stopped, like London was holding its breath. I was tuning my guitar when Nora whispered, "He's back." My chest tightened. "Who?" She tilted her head toward the corner booth. "Your mystery wallet with legs. Rowan Vale, same coat. Same calm stare. Only this time he smiled. Slow, deliberate, like he already knew what I'd say before I said it. "Good evening," he greeted as I passed his table. I hesitated. "You came back. Didn't you expect me?" "I don't expect much from anyone," I said. "Less disappointment that way," he chuckled softly. "Honesty. That's rare." "Apparently so," I muttered, pretending to check my guitar. "You here for another song?" "Not tonight." He leaned forward slightly. "I'm here for a proposal." That made me look at him. "Proposal?" "Relax," he said. "Not marriage." His tone was teasing, but his eyes stayed serious. "A performance. A private one. Tomorrow evening." I frowned. "You're offering me a gig?" "I'm offering you a door," he said. "You just have to walk through it." "That sounds like something a villain says before ruining your life," I replied. He smiled wider. "Depends on how you define ruin," Nora interrupted, walking by with her tray. "Sir, would you like a refill?" "No, thank you," Rowan said politely. Then his gaze returned to me. "What do you say, Elias?" I crossed my arms. "What's the catch?" "No catch. You'll sing, I'll pay, simple." I wanted to believe him. But nothing about Rowan Vale felt simple. "How much?" He slid a folded card across the table. "Enough to cover your rent 3 times over." My heart skipped. "You don't even know what my rent is." He leaned back. "I know enough." Nora gave me a look from behind the counter, the kind that said, "Don't be stupid." "I'll think about it," I said finally. He rose from his seat. "You've got till midnight." "But I'll be honest, Elias." He paused. "I don't hear pain like yours often. I don't intend to lose it." Then he left, just like that. Coat swaying, doorbell chiming behind him. I stood there long after he was gone. Nora approached, arms crossed. "So?" she said. "You gonna sell your soul for rent money?" I sighed. "It's one night, Nora." "Yeah, and one night's how all bad stories start." "You think he's dangerous?" "I think he's rich," she said flatly. "And rich men never look at us without wanting something." Her words hit harder than I wanted to admit. But desperation doesn't care about pride. I had 2 days left before eviction. At midnight, I texted the number on the card. "I'll do it." The reply came instantly. 8 p.m. Vale Tower, Kensington. Dress well. The next evening, I stood outside a skyscraper that made my entire street look like a forgotten memory. Vale Tower glowed gold under the city lights. "Bloody hell," I muttered, staring up. Inside, everything gleamed. Marble floors, glass walls, a chandelier that looked like falling stars. A woman in black approached. "Mr. Ward?" "Yes, Mr. Vale is expecting you." "This way." She led me into a hall buzzing with laughter, clinking glasses, and the kind of perfume that made your lungs ache. I froze when I saw the stage. Sleek, silver, and centered in front of a crowd dressed in luxury. "Just one song," the woman said softly. My palms were sweating. "One song, right." When I looked toward the front row, I saw him. Rowan. He wasn't watching anyone else. Just me. I began to play, my voice trembling at first, then steadying as the melody took over. Every line felt raw, stripped open, like I was confessing something I didn't understand. When the last note faded, the applause was polite but distracted. These people didn't care, but Rowan did. He was still watching, still unreadable. Afterward, he met me backstage. "Well done," he said. "Was that your idea of a small gig?" I asked, wiping sweat from my hands. He smiled faintly. You did beautifully. Where are we, really? My building, he said. Every brick, every floor. Including the Ember Café. I froze. You own the cafe? He nodded. You've been singing in my property for 2 years. My stomach twisted. So this wasn't random. No, he said. Nothing about you was random. Why me? I asked quietly. He looked away for the first time. You remind me of someone. Who? He didn't answer. Just handed me another envelope. For tonight, I took it reluctantly. You could have just told me you owned the place. I could have, he agreed. But I wanted to see if your voice was honest before your words were. That's creepy, I said. He laughed softly. Then I suppose honesty is uncomfortable. I stepped back. I don't want to be someone's project. You're not a project, he said. You're a story. What kind of story? One I intend to finish, he replied. Good night, Elias. When I returned to the cafe that night, Nora was wiping tables. She looked up. Well? I tossed the envelope on the counter. He owns this place. Her eyes widened. What?
Rowan Vale, he owns the Ember. He's been watching me this whole time. See?
She said. I told you. Rich men don't help for free. I sat down, rubbing my temples. He said I remind him of someone. Like he's searching for her through me. Nora frowned. That's messed up, Elias. Yeah, I said softly. But what if that's what I've been doing too? Singing for someone who's already gone? She didn't answer, and for the first time, I wasn't sure if Rowan was my savior or the storm I'd been running from. Elias, he's here again, Nora whispered as she wiped the counter. I glanced toward the corner booth. Rowan sat there, immaculate as always, a ghost wrapped in money and control. I sighed. What does he want this time? She smirked. You probably. Nora, I'm serious. Men like him don't buy cappuccinos. They buy people. Before I could reply, Rowan raised his hand slightly, beckoning me over. His eyes carried that calm intensity, like he already owned the air between us. I walked toward him, my heart unsteady. You're avoiding me, he said smoothly. I've been busy, I muttered. Busy turning down opportunities I arranged for you. I froze. What? He smiled faintly. The Soho event. You refused. Why? I don't want to sing for people who don't listen, I said. I sing for meaning, not money. He leaned back, amused. You're poor, Elias. Meaning doesn't pay rent. His words stung more than I wanted to admit. I never asked you to pay my rent, I said sharply, but I did anyway. You didn't notice? My stomach turned. What are you talking about? He slid a small envelope across the table. My name was on it. E. Ward, apartment 12B. Inside, a new lease. Paid for a year. His signature on the bottom. You had no right. I have every right, he interrupted softly. I bought this cafe. You work on my stage now. My breath caught. You what? He stood towering, his voice low and possessive. You sing here because I allow it. Because I want to? I laughed bitterly. That's insane. You can't just, I can. And I did. I felt Nora's eyes on me from behind the counter. She looked ready to throw something at him. Rowan, I don't want this. I don't want you buying pieces of my life. He tilted his head. You think I'm controlling you? I'm giving you wings. You're building me a cage, I said. For a moment he looked almost hurt. You think I don't see your worth, Elias? You have no idea how much I've... Enough, I cut him off. Stop pretending this is kindness. His tone hardened. You'd still be drowning without me. Maybe. But at least it would be my ocean. He didn't reply. He simply stared, then left without another word. When the door closed, Nora came over furious. He bought this place? Are you serious? I nodded weakly. She slammed her rag down. Then I quit. I'm not working for some control freak. Nora, please. No, Elias, he's using you. I've seen this before. Power looks like love until it locks the door. That night I couldn't sleep. My phone kept buzzing. Missed calls, texts. All from Rowan. Rowan, don't ignore me. Rowan, I need to explain. Rowan, come to my office tomorrow. I threw the phone aside and tried to breathe, but guilt twisted inside me. Part of me still wanted to understand him, and that terrified me. The next evening I went to his office. The place smelled of cedar and ambition. He looked up from his desk, eyes tired, voice calm. You came. I needed to end this, I said. He leaned forward. And what? The thing that's making you known? The person making it happen? I shook my head. You're not helping me. You're rewriting me. He sighed. You think I want control, but I just want to keep you safe. From what? From the world. From the people who'll destroy what makes you real. I laughed bitterly. You mean people like you? He flinched. You don't understand what I've lost. Then don't make me your replacement. For a second, silence filled the room. He walked to a cabinet and opened it. Fine. You want truth? He stepped aside, and I froze. Photos. Dozens of them. Me singing, smiling, walking home, even sitting by the river. My voice trembled. You followed me? I watched you, he corrected. Because you remind me of someone I failed to save, Rowan. I could barely breathe. She was like you. Brave, beautiful, but the world broke her. I won't let it break you. You're not saving me. I whispered. You're breaking me instead. He looked genuinely lost for a second, as if his obsession was love in disguise. You think this is wrong? He asked quietly. I think it's tragic, I said, and I think I'm done. I turned to leave, but his voice followed. You'll regret this, Elias. Maybe, I said. But at least it'll be my regret. I walked out, my chest tight. The hallway lights felt harsh against my eyes. When I stepped outside, rain began to fall, washing the city in silver. Nora waited near the cafe, umbrella in hand. Did you see him? She asked. Yeah, I said quietly, and? I saw the truth. Her expression softened. Then what now? I don't know. But I can't sing for him anymore. She placed a hand on my shoulder. Then sing for yourself. That's who you were before he found you. I nodded slowly. The rain kept falling, heavy and relentless. But I didn't hide from it. I walked into it, every drop burning against my skin like freedom trying to be remembered. That night, I came home, found the guitar he'd given me, and stared at it. It gleamed under the lamplight. Beautiful, expensive, false. You don't own me, I whispered. Then I smashed it against the floor. The string snapped, echoing like a scream swallowed by the storm outside. And for the first time in months, silence felt like a song I'd written for myself. Smile more, Rowan said as his stylist adjusted my jacket. People love tragedy dressed like success. I stared at my reflection, a suit I didn't own, under lights I didn't ask for. You want me to sing for your friends, not for me? They're not friends, he said, fastening his cufflinks. They're investors. They'll adore your song, my mother's song, I whispered. You're turning grief into entertainment. Rowan looked at me through the mirror. Pain sells, Elias. And your pain, he smiled faintly, is priceless. I felt something twist inside me. You said you believed in my music, not in marketing it. I still do, he replied calmly. But tonight your voice builds futures. Mine, yours, ours, I forced a laugh. Ours? You own the building, the stage, even my set list. What part of that is ours? He leaned close, voice low. The part where I made you matter. That line cut deeper than he knew. When the curtain rose, I stepped into the golden light of the ballroom. Hundreds of faces stared back, silk, perfume, and power. The piano waited like a witness. I took a breath and started to play. The world is quiet when the song begins. Every note dragged me back to my mother, her voice humming by candlelight, her laugh echoing through small rooms. The melody trembled under my fingers. But when I glanced toward Rowan, he was smiling, not at me, but at the applause already forming in his mind. He wasn't hearing me. He was hearing his victory. Something inside me snapped. After the final chord, the room erupted in clapping. Rowan walked up, microphone in hand, gleaming like a king. Ladies and gentlemen, he said, the soulful Elias Ward, discovered right here under my roof. The crowd cheered. Cameras flashed. My stomach churned, he continued, voice dripping with pride. When I met him, he was barely surviving. I thought, why not give talent a chance? Why not give him a purpose? I grabbed the mic. Stop, Rowan blinked, smile frozen. Elias, no, I said louder. You didn't give me purpose. You bought it. The room fell silent. I turned toward the audience. He didn't save me. He bought my songs, my debts, my silence. He bought me. Gas filled the air. Cameras pointed at us like rifles. Rowan's jaw tightened. Be careful what you say. Why? You'll fire me? You already own everything I touch. He stepped closer, voice sharp. I gave you everything. Your guitar, your rent, your name on people's lips. I stared at him. You gave me chains and called them gifts. He laughed bitterly.
You think you'd survive without me? You couldn't even pay your bills before I found you.
That was my failure, I said, shaking.
But at least it was mine.
A murmur rippled through the crowd. Phones were out, recording. Rowan's mask cracked. Anger flared in his eyes.
You're ungrateful, he hissed.
You'd still be nothing if I hadn't. I cut him off.
If you hadn't used me, if you hadn't turned my mother's song into a prop for your ego.
His voice rose. You're a project, Elias.
A broken thing I tried to fix.
The words hung in the air, cruel and irreversible. Silence. Cameras clicked. Someone whispered,
Did he just call him a project?
Rowan realized too late what he'd done. I saw panic flicker in his face as journalists leaned forward, as lights flashed harder. I lowered the microphone slowly. You didn't save me, Rowan. You bought my soul. Then I walked off the stage. I didn't look back. The applause was gone, replaced by whispers and the sound of his empire crumbling. Outside, the night was wet and wild. Rain pounded the marble steps as if London itself was washing him off me. Nora waited near the curb, her eyes wide. I saw it, she said quietly.
You burned him. No, I whispered.
He burned himself. She handed me an envelope. They're shutting the cafe. Rowan's name is poison now. I nodded numbly. And you? I'm leaving. He already called and fired me. Said I was a distraction. Then we're both free, I said, though the word didn't feel real. She looked at me for a long moment. Where will you go?
Somewhere quiet, I said.
Somewhere I don't have to sing to be heard. Her lips trembled. He'll come after you. Then let him chase a ghost. I started walking down the street, the city lights blurring through tears I refused to wipe away. Behind me, sirens began to wail, maybe for him, maybe for us. Each step felt heavier, but necessary. At the corner, I stopped and looked back once. The grand building glowed in flames of golden light, its windows reflecting everything I'd lost and everything I was about to find. For the first time, I didn't feel like his creation. I felt human again, flawed, frightened, but free. The rain thickened. My breath came in clouds. London shimmered like a wound that refused to close. I whispered into the storm. Goodbye, Rowan, and as I disappeared into the wet streets, I knew something final had ended. Not just a song, not just a love twisted by power, but the part of me that still believed I owed him my voice. The sea always sounded like forgiveness, waves crashing, gulls crying, people laughing. None of them knew me. And that was the point. Elias, you're up next, the bartender called. I nodded, wiping my hands on my jeans. The pub was small, full of warm light and chatter. No stage, no cameras, no fame. Just sound, honest and unpolished. When I sang now, no one expected anything. That freedom tasted better than any applause ever had. I took my seat near the microphone and smiled faintly. This one's called The Song of My Own Name. A few regulars clapped. Someone whistled. I began to play. My fingers brushed over the strings, soft and steady. The melody was quiet, built from pieces of who I used to be. Every word carried salt, memory, and something gentler than pain. Then the door opened. A gust of cold air swept in, and I looked up. For a second I thought I was seeing a ghost. Rowan Vale, older, thinner, eyes duller than I remembered. He didn't belong here among fishermen and locals. His tailored coat looked tired, his posture uncertain. He stood there until I stopped singing. Keep going, he said softly. I put the guitar down. What are you doing here? He smiled faintly. Listening. It's what I should have done a long time ago. My chest tightened. You shouldn't be here. I know, he said, stepping closer. But I had to see you. I've lost everything. The company, the flat, the name. All I have left are the things I broke. And I was one of them? I asked quietly. He looked at the floor. The one I regret most. The room had gone silent around us. Even the bartender stopped drying glasses. I could feel everyone listening, waiting. I didn't come for pity, he said. I came to tell you I'm sorry. I stared at him. The man who once owned everything, now trembling before me. You made me hate my own voice, Rowan. Do you know what that feels like? He nodded. Yes, I hear it every night when I try to sleep. The silence doesn't forgive me. For a moment I wanted to scream at him. Then I realized I didn't feel anger anymore. Just distance. You taught me something, I said finally. You taught me that ownership and love can't exist together. He blinked, tears gathering. I wanted to protect you. No, I said. You wanted to keep me. Rowan let out a shaky breath. I deserved that. I leaned back, watching him, not as a villain, not as a lover, but as a man undone by his own hunger. What happened to you? Scandal, bankruptcy, betrayal, he said with a hollow laugh. Turns out I built my empire on other people's songs. And now? He looked around the room. Now I walk, I listen. I try to remember who I was before I wanted everything. The bartender cleared his throat gently. You okay, Eli? Yeah, I said, nodding. I am. Rowan hesitated at the door. You won't forgive me, will you? I already did, I said softly. Just not for you, for me. He swallowed hard. Then I'll go. Rowan, I called as he turned. You once told me pain sells. You were right. But peace doesn't. He smiled, a real fragile smile. Maybe that's why it's worth more. Then he left. No drama, no spotlight. Just footsteps fading into the sound of the sea. I sat there for a moment, staring at the door, until someone shouted, Sing another one, Eli. I picked up my guitar again. This time, I said, no ghosts allowed. Laughter broke the silence. I strummed the first note, feeling warmth spread through me. Quiet, steady, alive. My voice rose over the hum of waves and whispers. It wasn't perfect, but it was mine. As I sang, I realized I wasn't performing anymore. I was living. Every lyric, every breath was proof that I'd survived the fire and found my own rhythm again. When the last note faded, the crowd clapped softly, not like fans, but like witnesses. Outside, through the window, the sun dipped low over the horizon, staining the water gold. I smiled, whispering to myself, I used to sing for survival. Now I sing to live. And for the first time, that felt like enough.